Hey guys, listen, I just want to take a couple of minutes and share some thoughts with you that I've had this week. And as I was reading in 1 Peter chapter 5, there was a verse in the scripture that just really stuck out to me. I wanted to pass it along to you guys who are leading people in our ministry here at Brand New Church in Bergman. This is Peter talking. He says, I'm speaking to you as an elder, to elders. And I know this is really specifically talking to pastoral leadership, but I think it applies to all of us. He says, care for the flock that God has entrusted to you. Watch over it willingly and not grudgingly, not for what you think you'll get out of it, but because you're eager to serve God. And I love verse 3. It says, don't lord it over the people assigned to your care, but lead them by your own good example. And when I got to thinking about that phrase, to lead people by your own example, I thought, man, I wonder how much of my life is really showing and demonstrating true leadership just by what I do, not as much of what I say, the instructions that I give, but just people watching my life. What kind of leader really am I? And I think it's a worthy question for us. You know, as I just think about this, if my life were put in just a clear case, just a clear glass case, and nobody could really hear what I was saying, but all they did was just observe the way that I live my life, how much leadership would get accomplished as a result of my influence by the way that I live. And a couple of thoughts and just questions that I'm asking myself in this as I'm sharing it with you is, number one, the fact that people do what people see. And we know that from birth, a child. We communicate with our siblings and with our friends as we grow up the same way we see our parents interacting with each other and interacting with us. It's just kind of one of those things that follows us in every aspect of our life. But people do what people see. Question I want to ask is, am I doing what I want my people to do, or am I just giving instructions for what I'm expecting them to do? Does that make sense? So again, just thinking about setting this example thing, am I actively involved in doing what I'm asking my people to do, or am I just spending most of my time giving instruction to what my expectation of them really is? Another good question that's really humbling to me that I do not like, but I think we've got to ask it, is this: would you follow you? And if there's anything in your life and leadership that you feel like needs to change in order for you to be able to give a confident yes to that, focus on that these next few weeks and these next few days and weeks as we go into Mother's Day weekend and the weekends following through this Armageddon series. Just think about the question: what is it in my life that I wouldn't be confident following just because I know that that would be true about me? A couple of thoughts of just fleshing this out real quick. There are some things that I think we can do at our campus, some things that I want to do to lead you out in this weekend for Mother's Day, an awesome weekend that we have, and that is having conversations with people. And here's what I mean by that. We attended the C3 conference, and there's a gentleman out in the parking lot that was helping us just find a parking spot, but he was there for much more than that. He hung out there with us. He asked us questions. He found out if there's anything that we needed to know. He gave us direction. He was just there really to have conversations with us. And this past couple of weeks, I've noticed in the pouring down rain, and it's raining again today, I've noticed just in taking some umbrellas and hanging out with some of our people out in the parking lot, I've noticed that God has opened a lot of doors just having conversations under umbrellas with people. And I think there's really something to this. Even if it's not raining on Sunday, and if we don't have to use the umbrellas on Sunday, which, you know, I'd love to have a sunny day. But there's something to having these parking lot conversations that I've noticed just kind of drops people's guard, and by the time they get to the door, they're smiling, they're enjoying life. It's a chance for us to brag on them, brag on their kids, tell them how beautiful they are, how well dressed they are, and how encouraged and honored we are that they've chosen Brand New Church. I mean, the list goes on, but it really starts, I'm finding, out there in the parking lot. I want to encourage as many of you who can. I know you have responsibilities, but as many of you who can, would you join me this weekend in having parking lot conversations, and specifically looking for those people maybe that you've never seen before and connecting with them. Another couple of thoughts I want to share real quick is being here for people and being here with people. There's a difference, because I know in my marriage, for instance, that it's one thing for me to be around my wife. It's another thing for me to be with my wife, to be there focused, to be there emotionally, for her to have my attention. And that's one thing that I think is so invaluable to us right here at our campus, and it happens right here really in our lobby most of the time. And that's just being here and being here with people and being focused on their needs and their questions. And you never know, but that one conversation you have with somebody might be the turning point in them choosing to give their life to Christ or to become an active member of Christ here at Brand New Church. So being there with people and then being there for people. I find myself so many Sundays chasing my tail, looking for things that need to be done, some organizational things that I need to make adjustments on well earlier into the week, so I'm not having to do anything like that on Sunday mornings. But just being intentional to be here with people and to be here for people. And I think it means everything. As an exclamation point to that, I want to say this. If you were to have guests in your home, no doubt that when it came time for them to leave, you wouldn't be back in another room somewhere just, kind of tending to other things while they just kind of quietly slipped out. There's something to being there, giving those final goodbyes, high-fiving people on their way out. Thank you so much for coming. We're honored to have you in our home. We look forward to the chance we get to hang out again together. And I think that needs to translate right here into the church. And so I want to ask you, as much as possible, would you join me right here in the lobby as people are leaving, interacting, saying, just giving those high fives to people, thanking them for being here, and just being a constant presence here with them and for them this weekend. I think it goes a long way, and it communicates to people not only that we're expecting them to come, and not only that we're grateful that they came, but we also want to let them know how much we appreciate them personally on their way out the door. Those are just some simple thoughts of, I think, being an example to the flock that God's called us to lead. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate each one of you and God's call on your life. And I want to do a better job in leading by example in these ways. And I want to invite you to join me for Mother's Day weekend. Thanks.